Looks like I'm living rent-free in your heads again, huh? I mean, if you're gonna spend your days obsessing over me, you might as well start calling me something respectable. Maybe Daddy Shizzy, or better yet, Papa Nut. Who's the grown-up here? Oh right, it's me. Let's go. Call me Daddy, yeah, that's who I am. Running your mind's like a master plan. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, take your pick. I'm opening in your thoughts while you still act sick. Call me Daddy, it's what you mean. Why you chase the crooks and I take the lead? Living rent-free, that's my name. Go ahead, say it, put some respect on your name. Man, I'm too old, well here's a surprise. I'm the one with the brains while you're stuck with the lies. You act like you're experts, but here's the reality. I'm the one controlling your mental reality. So while you're out there trying to throw shade, I'm sipping coffee and you're feeling betrayed. You're mad, I got the spotlight, now it's my time. So why not call me Daddy or Papa with a rhyme? I'm the landlord and you're just the tenants, stuck in your headspace with no insight, no repentance. Call me Daddy, you know it's true. You'd be lost without me, stuck in the glue. Call me Daddy, I'm holding your mind while you're scrambling, trying to find what's behind. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, don't you see? You're living in my world now, I'm the VIP. Call me Daddy, just let it be. While you're trying to figure out your own identity. Oh, I see you're confused, trying to get it right, spinning your wheels while I'm out of sight. You think you've got it figured, but you got it all wrong. I've been running your minds all along. But sure, keep pretending you don't care. Keep saying you're done, but I'm still in the air. You got no choice but to bow to my name. Daddy Shizzy is here to own the game. You say you don't watch, but you're obsessed. Every word I say puts you to the test. Call me Daddy, Papa Nut, you know you should. Because I've been living rent-free, and you know it feels good. Shizzy Daddy, all in your headspace, and there's no escape. Good luck with that.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Oh, gotta pull up there. You guys hit that poll as I have a little fun today. That's awesome. Good to see all of you. Yes, we got this new filing that came in today. Oh my. I mean, I saw it come in. Well, actually it came in yesterday, but of course it only hit the docket today. That's the way that Orange County happens, you know, is whenever a filing goes in, it takes about 24 hours and then it populates on the docket and becomes very available to see. So this particular document was filed on the 4th, and only the I love that, Wes. It's awesome. No, and you know, this is something that is sadly misconstrued, is badly confused. There's a lot of complaints about people reading court documents. And you know, that's understandable. Sure, you know, you can complain about people reading court documents, but is it only attorneys should be able to read court documents and give a simplified answer to some of those things? And they're not giving any sort of legal advice. They're not attacking anybody. They're reading court documents. So would that be wrong for someone to read those court documents? Well, if that was the case, YouTube would be in a bad state of affairs to be able to read, you know, publicly available documents that you can find anywhere. Now, it might be a little bit odd if they're going and they're pulling up court documents that aren't available to the public. Now, you could run into problems for that. That could also be, you know, you might be liable for, you know, getting in trouble for that. But anything that and that's just me, that you see that's out there, you should be able to read those. That's available to the public or anybody with a Pacer account. But hey, You guys are the decision makers here. You go ahead and you tell me how it is. You tell me how it is, because we all want to know. Isn't that really wild, Norm? Isn't that really wild? And look at that. It's Wes in Alabama says, hit it, Jizzy. You know what you want. You know you like it. Oh, and it is not going to play. Why? Because I got the damn thing muted. So there we go. Every single day, a new flavor of thuggery. Cause everybody sucks, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of donuts. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous,
ignorant, balder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and thuggery. Oh, yes. There is no law against it. Exactly. Philip, how you doing today? So much better volume? Yeah, much better volume. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes the volume gets a little screwy and we have those kinds of issues that happen. But we have this wonderful document, and if you guys stick around long enough, we'll probably have the open letter. Only the whiny ones I was compelled to. You know it. That's how it goes. Some people get so worked up over this kind of stuff. So this was filed, as you can see right here, 8/4/2025, which would have been yesterday at 3 o'clock, close to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was filed in there. So here it is. This is the defendant, which would be ABC Legal Services in this particular filing. And I have to understand that this isn't the only filing that a certain Leslie Ferderigos has filed. No, she's filed multiple suits against people, also against Megan Fox, Tug, Jeremy Hale. She's filed notices of those filings inside of a federal case and a couple of state cases, and maybe even one, from what I understand. I can't confirm because those documents I don't have access to would be in the Ohio court, was filed there also. And what was it to prove? Don't know, don't care, because it wasn't very clear other than just to interrupt proceedings, which could lend you in a little bit more trouble as that is my understanding of the law, which, I'm no attorney, as I've said multiple times before. I'm probably just more of like a whiny something or other. Defendant, ABC Legal Services, or ABC Legal, or defendant by and through undersigned counsel pursuant to this particular Florida statute, they move to dismiss the amended complaint filed by the plaintiffs, which would be Lips and also the minor child. So these are the two people that filed that. Now, whenever you have a minor child, they'll usually just use initials, so that way they don't give any information of a minor out there. Okay. Now, I got a thing on Facebook, Jim Henson doing Star Trek Muppet Madness going wild. Okay, so here's the introduction. This will tell you a little bit about what's happening in the case itself. This action concerns an attempt to serve process. Now, the plaintiffs allege that a process server, which was engaged by ABC Legal, which means that person was hired by ABC Legal. I'll get to the membership stuff and whenever we get a few in there, came to plaintiff's residence for the purpose of serving court papers on plaintiff's spouse, Michael Ferderigos. Now, as you can see, the purpose was to serve papers on Michael, not on Lips, but on her husband. Plaintiffs claimed that the process server intruded on their property, peered through windows, startled them, and called law enforcement with allegedly false reports of neglected child in the home. Based on these contentions, plaintiffs assert that ABC Legal is directly liable for ensuing emotional distress, reputational harm, privacy violations plaintiffs claim to have suffered. As demonstrated below, dismissal with prejudice is warranted due to multiple pleading deficiencies. Where have we seen that before? Multiple pleading deficiency and lack of any legally cognizable, basically any claim that they have just makes no sense. Any claim that they're having legally it's failing. Mrs. Ferderigos' extensive history of filing meritless lawsuits with similar allegations that appear purely vexatious. So if you're wondering, and I bring this up with all due, is think about this for just a second. Like, step back and put yourself in this company's position. Okay. They're sending out service on a person in that home that lives at that address. Okay, they're sending service. That person apparently has somebody that's over the age of 18. So somebody that could easily accept service on his behalf. And they file this, they send a server out there, whatever, and we'll go through what happens in this. They cannot get in touch with this person, so they would be able to serve it to the wife, for example. Okay, that wouldn't be out of the realm. State of Florida allows that. We've seen this before. Over the age of 18, if they're living in the residence, there's a few legal hurdles that they have to reach to do this. Now, the problem is that this is their job. This is what they do. This is what process servers do. So, doing a regular course of business is, if it's putting stress or panic on you, that's on you. I mean, that's hitting some really strange burdens that you have to hit. And you ask, what is this? What is this for? Well, procedural history. On April 25th, 2025, she filed filing a complaint against ABC Legal and Jane Doe, which was identified as a process server. She subsequently filed an amended complaint on the same date, adding her minor child as a plaintiff and JP Morgan Chase as a defendant. Okay, so what does JP Morgan Chase have to do with this whatsoever? Well, in the amended complaint, plaintiffs assert that the following claims against ABC Legal: negligence, invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, abuse of process, defamation per se. Now, a summons was issued only to ABC Legal on April 28th of 2025. In the interest of efficiency, ABC Legal waived and accepted service of process. Okay, wherein its response to plaintiff's amended complaint became due on or before August 4th, which was yesterday, 2025. ABC Legal now brings this motion to dismiss amended complaint with prejudice. Well, which would mean that they want to make sure that she doesn't file this again. And again, noted, had it not been for Jeremy filing his case, a lot of this may have never even happened, because all of a sudden you're seeing a pattern. And good on ABC Legal for noticing the pattern and pulling up the court docket. Whoever actually did their research in their office, which I'm sure they had somebody do a little bit of research on this, and found that there was this isn't the first time that it's happened. And they probably scratched their head and went, oh, we need to bring this up front and center. We need to let people know what's happening. A motion to dismiss under this particular rule tests the legal sufficiency of a complaint rather than resolving the ultimate factual issues. So the court must determine whether the complaint has set forth sufficient factual allegations that, if true, would entitle the plaintiff to relief. A valid complaint must include factual allegations supporting each element of the claim. Okay, so that both the court and the defendant can clearly understand the asserted claims. The complainant cannot rely on opinions, theories, legal conclusions, or argument as such allegations are legally insufficient. Okay. Now that goes to show the filing that was done, which would have been the third amended complaint in federal court for it was actually a federal appellate court. It's still federal court, but it was a federal appellate court trying to overturn a decision that the lower court made. And whenever that filing was put in, there was opinions, theories, legal conclusions, and arguments that were legally insufficient. And the judge asked him not once, not twice, but 3 times to fix that deficiency. And whenever that third amended complaint came out, the judge had had enough. Now, there's nothing wrong with us being able to read those documents to show the kind of shenanigans that may be happening in a court case, or why a court case was thrown out. We're not allowed to read documents from a guardian ad litem. Those documents are sealed by the courts. The reason that or by a guardianship, any guardianship cases, and that could be elder, that could be probate, those documents are sealed to protect families from frivolous bullshit is basically what it is. You have guardians there for a reason. You know, it could be to protect young children. It could be to protect assets so people don't know how much money you have. It could be any number of things. But those documents are sealed. They're not completely sealed. If you go down and you have good reason to see those court cases and plead your case, you can get them from the clerk of courts. But generally, unless if there's something in there, they're going to vet those very closely. They want to make sure that those documents go out, are not seen by the public. So for us, you know, as people that read court documents and court cases, there's certain things that we can't see. So we can only speculate what's in there. We would have no idea, because in doing so, you'd be breaking like all kinds of laws. And a lot of times, even with those guardian cases, you're not even allowed to talk about them, which some people tend to do anyway, but that can get you in all kinds of trouble with the bar, with the state bar. That's why you don't talk about those kinds of things. You're better being safe than sorry. Now, this right here, just is the same with that amended complaint, which the judge's order on an amended complaint. I'm going to be going over that tonight. I'm going to be going over all 50 pages. I'm going to cut out a lot of what's in there as far as a lot of the citations, and basically just go over what those citations are saying and break those down a little bit better for you, so you understand what those citations were about. So you can see that it's not about attacking a victim of some case or going against some sort of protection of somebody in any particular case. It's talking about one particular case and how somebody is filing really bad things in the first place, and a judge called them out on it. Now, there's a problem. There's a lot of people that don't like to hear that. They don't like their fuck ups to be openly aired. They get really butthurt about it. And it's not our fault that they're getting butthurt about it. That's their own problem. They are the ones that filed dumb shit in the first place and then didn't fix whatever dumb shit that they filed in there. And not only that, but a judge said, you didn't fix the dumb shit you filed in there. And we read it for everybody to see. They don't like their dirty laundry aired. And that's not my problem. If you don't like your dirty laundry aired, then do fucking better. Simple as that. Thank you for bearing with me. As such, allegations are legally insufficient. Shotgun pleading, to sound familiar, which lacks specific factual allegations to support a cause of action, is legally insufficient and subject to dismissal as a matter of law. Similarly, the court should grant a motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim when a complaint fails to allege sufficient ultimate facts to show the pleader is entitled to relief. Here, plaintiffs have failed to state a claim upon which relief can be granted and put forth a shotgun pleading. Dismissal is warranted on both grounds. Argument. The amended complaint constitutes a shotgun pleading and fails to assert a claim upon which relief can be granted. And this goes for count 1, negligence against all defendants, count 2, invasion of privacy against ABC and Jane Doe, intentional infliction of emotional distress against all defendants, abuse of process against ABC and legal John Doe, defamation against ABC, legal and Jane Doe, and defamation per se against ABC, legal and Jane Doe. Sorry, I meant to say Jane Doe. These are all Jane Does. Okay, Jane Doe would be the minor child. Okay, now, if you don't understand what a shotgun pleading is, let me explain it. It's not that they're just scattershotting out there, okay? The way that a complaint is written that's considered a shotgun pleading is you can't differentiate between who did what. And this is the same thing that Lips did in her initial pleading in the lawsuit that named Shizzy Wisnut, named Megan Fox, named Jay Hip, named Tug. Okay. So whenever they filed that was what's considered a shotgun pleading. And the way that they did it is it would be like this. You've got 10 people and each of those 10 people did something completely different. Okay. In that particular sequence or lawsuit. Okay, so you've got defendant A that said something that was defamatory. You got defendant B that didn't say anything defamatory, but said something different that was defamatory. You got defendant C that stole something from you. You got defendant D that hurt your feelings, whatever it might be. Now, whenever you're filing those, you have to show what it was that they actually did, that A did. You have to show exactly what B did and exactly what C did and exactly what D did. And then not only do that, it's that who, what, when, where, and how. So whenever you name all of those things and how they can be satisfied in that, they never did this. All they did was say, they did bad things, they hurt my feelings. And then they named every single person without ever tying them into what exactly they did. That's what's considered a shotgun pleading, hoping to capture everybody in on the conspiracy or whatever it might be. That's what screws them over almost every single time, because they're not able to come up with anything substantial. The reason that Fed case got thrown out so quickly, the appeal got thrown out so quickly by the judge, where the judge said, listen, I shouldn't expect 14 people to go through every single document just to figure out who in the hell you're talking about, where, when, who, what, why. You're not answering any of the questions. And he gave them 3 chances to get that shit straight, and they didn't. And he was done with it. Failures of each counter discussed in term below. Negligence. The negligence claim has 4 elements. A duty by a defendant to conform to a certain standard of conduct. Okay. A breach by defendant of that duty, a casual connection between the breach and the injury to plaintiff, and loss of damage to plaintiff. Plaintiff alleges the ABC Legal, as Jane Doe's employer and or contractor, had a duty to properly train and supervise its process server, implement adequate policies and procedures for ethical service, conduct appropriate background checks, monitor, verify service attempt accuracy, and ensure compliance with Florida statutes and professional standards. And that compliance is in one of, she actually filed that in one of her exhibits. Plaintiff further alleges that ABC Legal breached its duties by failing to properly train Jane Doe, failing to supervise service attempts, failing to implement quality control measures, failing to investigate complaints, and allowing reckless service practices. The allegations fail on multiple levels. First, plaintiff's allegations improperly commingle theories of direct or vicarious liability. Plaintiffs initially allege vicarious liability based on ABC Legal's employer and or contractor relationship with Jane Doe, but thereafter allege direct liability based on ABC's Legal's purported failures in hiring, training, and supervising. Okay. Second, plaintiff alleges a general negligence claim, but includes element of negligent supervision, training, hiring, and alleging the elements of duty and breach. Negligent supervision, negligent training, negligent hiring are separate and distinct causes of action. Nestling separate causes of action with a general negligence claim also renders the complaint a shotgun pleading, further warranting dismissal. Third, plaintiffs provide no substantive facts supporting their conclusions that Jane Doe was improperly trained, supervised, or hired. This right here is what's the most important, I believe, in my opinion, is they provide no facts in this. It's a guesstimate. It's throwing shit at the wall. It is well settled that Florida is a fact pleading jurisdiction, and the court is not required to accept beliefs, opinions, and conclusions of the pleader. Does that make sense? So what they're saying is the court, they're not required to say, well, I believe that Bob wasn't properly trained, and my conclusion is, or my opinion is, that therefore Bob wasn't properly trained. You have to show some sufficient fact to that if you're going to file something like that. And you could upgrade some of those pleadings if, say, for example, you had discovery beforehand, but that's not the way that it works. Court is not required to accept those. The plaintiff's self-determination that Jane Doe was insufficiently supervised, trained, and or hired without any supporting factual allegation further renders this claim of subject to dismissal for failure to state a cause of action. Good afternoon, Kippy Tavern. Good to see you. All right, you make it make sense. Thank you. Welcome. Well, I appreciate it. Well, let's go ahead and hit some of your fine folks, your membership months here. And just so you guys know, if you are a member, what'll happen is I believe the end of the week, those memberships, or is it this? I think it's the 7th that I put it down. What'll happen is if you were the lowest tier membership, which was the $1.99 membership, that membership is going to go away, and you'll be refunded your money for the $1.99. It is only going up $1, so it'll be $2.99 for the lowest membership. I think that's right, $3.99 or $2.99. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that one will disappear. But you can always go into the slightly nuts, which will bring it up to the $3.99 membership. So that being said, member here for 2 months. The overlords are happy to help deflee the fleas. Well,
Welcome to the
you know, it is wonderful that you've been here for 2 months. I have my favorites that's been here for 6 months. Oh my gosh, thank you. Both of you get a star. That's beautiful. Shiny green star. And 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, vulgar, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery. So that's for D. Floofy Cat, and for I have my favorites, and for Cynthia Rothheim, member for 2 months. You make it make sense. Well, thank you very much, all 3 of you, for being here and hanging out and having fun, because this place is where we come to have fun. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. It is wonderful. It is wonderful having all of you here. Have you heard anything on the bankruptcy hearing with LMNOP? If I'm not mistaken, isn't that tomorrow? I think it's the 6th or the either it's tomorrow or the next day. You rock, Papa. Now, well, thank you, Ray Mancini.
Welcome to the shit show.
Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery, 'cause everybody's such a see, and they're dumber than a bag of plots. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous,
Ignorant, balder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and buggery. Oh, yeah. And the court, as you'll see, the court is not. You think it's tomorrow? Well, I knew it was something like that. Good day from central Minnesota. And the court is not required to accept those beliefs. Let's see. And so, in viewing of the foregoing, defendant ABC legally respectfully submits that dismissal of plaintiff's negligence claim is warranted. Then we move on to the invasion of privacy, because that was just under the first one. Those were the complaints under the first one. Now, the tort invasion of privacy has 4 general categories: intrusion or invading plaintiff's physical solitude, seclusion, public disclosure of private facts, false light in public eye, or privacy theory, and analogous to the law of defamation and appropriation or commercial exploitation. That's a lot to say in one phrase right there. Plaintiffs have brought an invasion of privacy claim based on intrusion, seclusion, false light, intentional infliction of mental distress. Florida does not recognize false light invasion of privacy as distinct from defamation. Amazing. That was found in Jews for Jesus and Inc. v. Rap. There's also no recognition of invasion of privacy theory based on intentional infliction of mental distress. Amazing. Oh, Hazel Monty, I'll get to you here in a little bit. And welcome, Bill, Arjazamba, Uncle Frederick, a Walker, and Chad Chatty. Nice. And also Penny Williams. Welcome to the shit show. Intrusion involves physically or electronically intruding into one's private quarters. This requirement refers to a place where there's reasonable expectation of privacy. Do you understand what they're talking about here? What they're talking about is if you set up a camera in a bathroom or a changing room, that right there would be a place that someone would expect they would have a reasonable expectation of privacy. You know, say for example, you go to a hotel and they've got a camera in the bathroom. You could go after them for that right there. That kind of intrusion is illegal, like crazy illegal. This requirement refers to a place where there's reasonable expectation of privacy. Thus, in Florida, for intrusion of seclusion to apply, there must be an invasion of an actual physical place where there is reasonable expectation of privacy. The same failures presented in plaintiff's negligence to claim are present here. Plaintiffs are allegedly directing liability against all these people. 11 through 12 form the factual basis of that. These paragraphs solely concern on the actions, allegations undertaken by the process server, which include that the process server entered the plaintiff's backyard, peered through windows, pounded on the door, and went to the neighbors' homes. However, plaintiffs have raised a direct liability claim against ABC Legal for invasion of privacy, not vicarious liability based on the actions of the process server. See, they couldn't separate ABC Legal from this. They could have gone after the process server individually, but because they did it in shotgun pleading and they added ABC Legal, that right there does not allow them to bring it all up against there. Oh, don't worry, I'll get to her. Unlike the swampy creatures, well, hey, there's got to be some swampy creatures on this. Plaintiffs thus again have commingled distinct legal theories under a singular claim, rendering the same shotgun pleading improperly dismissible. There are also no factual allegations to support the claim that they intentionally intruded on plaintiff's property, entered and surveilled plaintiff's private residence, or that ABC Legal peered through windows and accessed private areas of the process servers. Plaintiffs cannot maintain a claim for direct liability where they have alleged no wrongdoing undertaken by defendant himself. Defendant respectfully requests dismissal of plaintiff's invasion of privacy claim. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Are you seeing a pattern here? Okay. So this is another one of those shotgun pleadings. This is why lawyers should lawyer and not use ChatGPT. This is because if I was to file something like this and use ChatGPT, I wouldn't be held to the same scrutiny. Does that make sense? Okay. And the reason I wouldn't be is because I would be representing myself as a pro se litigant. Pro se litigants are given a little more leeway. And this is something that the judge explained to Michael Ferderigos in the case that you can't view because it's a guardian case. And that was written about in Law 360. And they were just like, there's a certain standard that's expected of attorneys to actually do the job and read the case law and be able to cite to it, not make up shit as they fucking go along. And that's something that he did that got him in all kinds of trouble by that court. So you gotta, you know, we're given a little more leeway as all of that goes. Oh, and let's get to Hazy Monteagle, which gifted 5 memberships and
Welcome to the shit show.
every single day. A new flavor of buggery, because everybody's such a sinner. Get a fit to me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's a foot for you right there. Oh, yes. And then we also have Great Grand X 14 times 14. Wow. Congratulations. That means some kids have been busy. That's a good thing. And that one's for you right there. And then we also have the wonderful Rumi that said, or it's either Rummy or Rumi, but I think it's Rumi. It says, hello, Shizzy. Hope all is well with you, unlike the swampy creatures on the other side of this. And I am in agreement. I mean, I've got no problem with the swampy creatures. We all need to have them. But, you know, if somebody wants to take issue with me reading court filings that are readily available to anybody, that anybody could read, and giving it somewhat a little bit of semblance of my take on it, whether I'm right or wrong, doesn't matter, because I'm never purported to be an attorney and I don't give any legal advice. That is for damn sure. So if they got problems with that, they can go suck on a loofah for all I care. The wrongdoer's conduct was intentional reckless, that is, intended as behavior when he knew or should have known that emotional distress would result. The conduct was outrageous, that is, go beyond all reasonable bounds of decency and regard to be odious and utterly intolerable. That would be, for example, showing up there and opening up a window, sticking your head in their bathroom while they're, you know, doing their business. That right there could be, you know, considered outrageous and beyond all bounds of decency. That conduct would have had to cause emotional distress. So if you can't say that the conduct was outrageous, that is go beyond bounds of decency, sticking your head inside the window while they're doing their business, and be regarded as odious and utterly intolerable, well, you're going to fail there. And if they had no idea, for example, they were trying to get into the house because they live there, and they open up the window and you're right there, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But even if it causes you emotional distress, they didn't intentionally do this. It wasn't like they intentionally said, someone's in there, let me open up the window and climb in there. You know, does that make sense? I hope it does. So, you know, if they can't prove this one right here, that was intentional or reckless, that is intended as behavior when he knew or should have known that emotional distress would likely result. It'd be a big difference if you knew somebody was in the bathroom and you walked in there and you stared at them. That would be outrageous. Like, that's not normal, especially if you look more than 2 seconds. The emotional, and then 4, the emotional distress was severe. Like basically it made them where they could never use the bathroom ever again. That would be severe. Then you could have something that you could have a claim, which relief could happen. Someone ringing the doorbell is outrageous and causes her stress. Well, that's not my fault. That's a you thing. And also they would have failed on the first part of it because you have to meet all 4 of these. It's not just one part of this. You have to meet all 4 of these. That's what the law is stating. Like it has to be intentional or reckless, that they knew whenever they should have not done this, that ringing the doorbell would cause an issue. Okay. So if they don't know that ringing her doorbell is going to cause her an issue, then you move on. If they did, for example, then you can have that case. But then also you would have to say that conduct was outrageous. Like they would sit there and ring the doorbell and ring the doorbell and ring the doorbell and ring the doorbell until it's like, why is this person just ringing my doorbell? And then you open the door and they're still sitting there ringing the doorbell. That becomes outrageous. That becomes intolerable. It does cause emotional distress. You know, that could be a problem. Sucking on the useless turds loofah. I've seen some pretty sick shit. You know that, but you have gone too far, sir. Thanks, Yamaha. You do have an invite if you want to come by later, because I do have a letter, and I'm only on page 7. This is going down to 13 pages. The plaintiff's subjective response, and this one's good. You're going to love this one, brother. You're going to love this one. If you just come by and read the letter, trust me, this is a good one. The plaintiff's subjective response to the conduct does not control the question whether it was intentional, inflictional, or distress occurred. And what they're alleging, ABC Legal committed the following acts: is encouraging and ratifying its processors' servers' outrageous conduct, failing to stop the harassment despite notice, maintaining policies that promote aggressive and improper service tactics, deliberately ignoring complaints about improper service methods, and continuing to employ process servers known to engage in abusive tactics. Now, what they say is plaintiffs failed to state a cause on which relief can be granted. Like all claims alleged in this action, there's no substantive facts alleged that support their conclusatory statements. Plaintiffs' own evidence shows their allegations to be false. This is really important. Their own bullshit that they filed, their own allegations to be false. As an exhibit to their amended complaint, they attached ABC's legal guidelines and expectations, which specifically state that process servers shall not harass, annoy, scare, restrain, or otherwise distress any individual present where service has been requested. And what they're talking about is they're not allowed to harass somebody. They're not allowed to annoy them. They're not allowed to scare them, restrain them, you can't handcuff them, or distress any individual where their service, which would be like serving them papers, has been requested. For purposes of convenience, a copy of that exhibit reference has been reattached here as Exhibit A. This contravenes that any legal claim that ABC Legal has implemented policies that promote that, which would mean ABC Legal has never promoted their process servers to go out, harass, annoy, scare, restrain, or otherwise distress individuals. It's right there in their own paperwork saying, we do not think that you should do this. This is part of service. Don't do this. They implemented policies that promote that. They did not do that. So, general allegations regarding deliberately ignoring complaints about improper service methods and continuing to employ process servers known to engage in abusive tactics similarly lacked any factual basis. Indeed, it's not even clear whether the allegations have anything to do with the attempt serve process that has given rise to this action, as the contention concerns more than one process server in a purported pattern of ignoring complaints. As you can see, right here, it says, it is not even clear whether the allegations have anything to do with the attempt to serve process that gave rise to this action, as the contention concerns more than one process server and a purported pattern of ignoring complaints. Plaintiffs are simply hurling allegations with no facts in hopes that something will stick. It's like, throw enough shit. Sorry, I was just swinging by to say hello. Hey, all tied up. Well, not really. You will be tied up. I'll see you tonight at, if you come by tonight, brother. There's even a better one tonight, because I'm going through all 50 pages, and it may go really late. Just saying, 50 pages is a lot to go through. And that's what I'm going to be doing. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing such an early one, is because after I get done with this, I've got to go feed my pups. I've got to go do a whole bunch of other stuff. And on top of that, I need to go through and do some highlighting so I don't bore you with a bunch of bullshit from the last time that I started to go through those 50 pages. And the 50 pages are become very important, because as you will see within those 50 pages, never once, whenever Tug, Megan, myself were reading those, were any of those things improperly read. At no time did we go after who was in the guardianship, or who was pursuing the guardianship. We're just reading the documents. Plaintiffs are simply hurling allegations of facts. Something will stick. Okay. Florida pleading requirements require more, and this claim fails woefully short of the requisite standard. Defendant respectfully requests dismissal under this claim. Now we get down to D, abuse of process. Whew. Okay. Now what they do is they explain, and a cause of action for abuse of process contains three elements: that the defendant made an illegal or improper or perverted use of process. 2, that the defendant had ulterior motives or purposes in exercising such illegal, improper, or perverted use of process. Whenever they're talking about use of process, they're talking about serving somebody, the way that you're serving somebody. And that as a result of such an action on the part of the defendant, the plaintiff suffered damages. Okay. So what it is abuse of process requires a post-issuance act other than service of what was issued. Okay. So what they're talking about, that particular thing that they're talking about, that they did an illegal or improper perverted use of process. Other words, that they served somebody papers that they weren't supposed to be served. That would be an abusive process, and that they had a reason for doing this, such as illegal or improper using it for a perverted use, maybe just to get to them. As a result, it caused damages. Okay. Plaintiff's amended complaint relies on pre-process activities which specifically concern service of the same. Plaintiff's abuse of process claim fails as a matter of law. The tort or abuse of process is concerned when improper use of process after it issues. Consequently, whether a plaintiff can prevail on that abuse of process claim turns on sufficient proof that the defendant misused process after it was served, so as to exert some form of leverage over the plaintiff. Alleging malicious intent in pre-process events are not enough to state a claim for abuse of process. Defendant ABC Legal respectfully submits that this should be dismissed because no cause of action can be granted. Defamation and defamation per se. This is where it gets really screwy, because as you haven't seen, defamation per se is what's going on in, what is it? It's going on in Fed 1. Okay. Fed 1, which right now is on hold. Fed 1, there's a claim of defamation per se. Okay. What those are is publication, falsity, knowing or reckless disregard as to the falsity on a matter concerning a public official, or at least negligent on a matter concerning a private person. Okay. 4, actual damages. 5, a defamatory statement. You have to hit all of those. Those are the elements. Whenever they say elements, that's what it had. This is the metric which it is designed. As you can see, you'll see or different than 4. Okay. So whenever it's written out like this, it has to be publication, falsity, knowing, and actual damages, and defamatory. Okay. Got it? And whenever they say or is part of this right here. So if it's not a public official or at least negligent on matter concerning a private person. Defamation is actionable per se if, when considered alone without innuendo, it charges that a person has committed an infamous crime. It charges a person having an infectious disease. It tends to subject one to hatred, distrust, ridicule, contempt, or disgrace. It tends to injure one in his trade or profession. And this one right here has committed an infamous crime. Okay. Notice you have to hit all 3 of these. Actually, it's all 4. You have to hit all 4 of these, not just one. You can't say that one, it just injured one with their trade or profession. Okay. Well, is it considered alone without innuendo that the person has committed an infamous crime? All right. Plaintiffs allege under both claims are identical and premised on the process server falsely reporting to law enforcement that there was an unsupervised, neglected child in an unsafe home. Again, plaintiffs conflate direct and vicarious liability and thus fail to put ABC Legal on proper notice as to allegations alleged against it. Factual allegations concerning vicarious liability. We went over this in the first part of this, where they can't claim anything on ABC, yet they added ABC into it. So basically, what they're saying right here is defendant respectfully submits that defamation claims is justified. What the dismissal is justified. Defamatory statements voluntarily made by private individuals to the police or state's attorney prior to the institution of criminal charges are presumptively qualified privilege. So in the act of doing business, making a complaint, voluntary statements made or a complaint to, if it was, the police saying, listen, I think that there's a child that's whatever, then, they're not, they shouldn't be considered, it shouldn't be considered, defamation. Okay. Getting there. We're down to page 10 out of 13. All right. So dismissal with prejudice is appropriate to prevent further abuse of the judicial process. This been a long day. This particular one right here is very important. So I hope you're paying close attention. Mrs. Ferderigos has demonstrated a pattern of filing frivolous and vexatious suits. Since her permanent retirement, notice they say right here, permanent retirement in 2023, Mrs. Ferderigos has instituted 3 civil lawsuits in this venue alone, excluding the instant action. In December of 2023, Ms. Ferderigos sued several members of her family and close friends. See Ferderigos v. Kalo Ferderigos. Initiated December 20th before Judge Louis F. Calderon. The causes of action in 2023 action were nearly identical to all accounts alleged here. It included defamation, defamation per se, intentional infliction of emotional distress, abusive process, and invasion of privacy. The complaint was dismissed a year later when Mrs. Ferderigos failed to serve the complaint on any of the named defendants. Less than a year later, she filed an action nearly identical to the one at hand. See Ferderigos v. Seacoast National Bank, initiated on November 15th before Judge Michael Dean. Mrs. Ferderigos, Mr. Ferderigos, and their 2 minor children were plaintiffs in the 2024 action. Defendants included the process server, her employer, and a client who engaged the company to effect service on Mr. and Mrs. Ferderigos. The 2024 action alleged that the process server engaged in a campaign of harassment and intimidation in her attempts to effect service of process, which allegedly included making several visits to the family home over the course of several weeks, blocking the front door and making false reports to neighbors. The causes of actions include defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and invasion of privacy. No effort was made to serve the complaint on the defendants in the 2024 action, and the summonses were never issued. A notice of intent to dismiss was entered by this court sua sponte on May 15, 2025, and the complaint has since been judiciously dismissed. In May of 25, shortly after filing the instant action, Mrs. Ferderigos filed her 3rd complaint in this venue within the span of just 6 months, alleging claims of defamation, defamation per se, invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, cyber stalking, harassment, civil conspiracy, tortious interference with a business relationship, publication of private facts, portrayal in a false light, appropriation of likeness, assault and threats, and stalking. C. Leslie Ferderigos v. Jeremy Hales, initiated on May 19th before Judge Michael Dean. Within just weeks of filing the action, Mrs. Ferderigos dismissed 3 of the named defendants in the suit. The suit has since been voluntarily dismissed in its entirety with no summonses issued as to any of the named defendants. Since this dismissal, a malicious prosecution of abuse of process action has been instituted against Mrs. Ferderigos by certain defendants in the Hales case. See Jeremy Hales et al. Versus Leslie Ferderigos. This is the one that you have Jeremy Hales, Tug, Megan Fox suing on her. It was initiated on July 21st, 2025 before Judge Heather Pinder Rodriguez. Now, you have to wonder that by Jeremy filing this since this dismissal, malicious prosecution, abusive process, that they didn't look at that and go, holy crap, somebody is standing up to her. And instead of letting this one go, and letting it go to its final conclusion, why don't we make sure that this person doesn't do this again? All it took was someone like Jeremy to step up and say, no more. Done playing your games. Someone needs to stop this. For Megan to jump in and say, I'm not playing this game. Someone needs to stop this. For Tug to step up and say, I'm done playing this game. This needs to stop. I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to this person again. That had they not done that, had those people, and George also stepping up saying, I don't like the way this is being done. I want this to stop. I don't want this person doing this again. Those people stepping up and saying, no, I don't want to see this done again. Do you think that had an effect on this case right here, where ABC said, you know what? We're going to stop this. We're not going to let this happen again. I don't know. Just a curious question. The instant case is no different than a slew of actions Mrs. Ferderigos has filed and abandoned without basis or cause in just this last year. Given the pattern of frivolity Mrs. Ferderigos has demonstrated, coupled with the complete absence of any substantial allegation, dismissal with prejudice is warranted to curb further misuse of judicial resources. It is well settled that courts possess the discretion to fashion appropriate relief where pro se litigants have abused the legal process and otherwise misused the court's limited judicial resources by filing repeatedly frivolous pleadings. Defendants respectfully submit that dismissal with prejudice is the appropriate relief in this matter. Conclusion. In considering of the foregoing, defendant ABC Legal Services LLC respectfully requests that this court issue an order granting defendant ABC's legal motion to dismiss with prejudice and awarding all further relief deemed just and due, or due and just. I hereby certify that on the 4th day of August 2025, a true and correct copy of the foregoing document has been electronically filed with the clerk of the court using the Florida Court's e-filing portal, which will serve an electronic copy of the foregoing on the following: Leslie and Michael. Certificate is taken as prima facie proof that such service in compliance with administrative has successfully been submitted. Thank you, Aramis and Jura. I appreciate both of you for reading all the other court documents and understanding what exactly was going on. Same where I live. This would have never lasted or passed the sniff test. See, phone through Latina in there. Phone through Latina in there. You know what they called wrong? You know they did. Yeah, you know that they did. Well, I told you this was going to be a short one. You're drinking vodka drinks. Oh my God, vodka drinks. God, I can't drink it. I can't day drink, man. I can't day drink. There's no way. There's no way. It doesn't happen for me. Nope. No day drinking for me, sons. Hello. Good to see you. Vodka drinks. Oh, God, no. Maybe the processor was looking for a swimming pool to dip into without paying. Well, that would get you in trouble. We have a completely different legal system here. It's a U.S. problem. We have a completely system. Yeah. The flea went on to say the judge is Latina and using Doritos was a slight against Ferderigos, but Ferderigos is Greek and not Latin. True. You're absolutely. Ferderigos is Greek, not Latino. That's correct. Isn't it amazing that you know? And by the way, Doritos are pretty damn good. I had some for lunch, so I don't know why people have a problem with Doritos. If you don't start early, you can't drink it all. If you don't start early, you can't drink all day. No, I can't drink all day. That's why. That would kill me. That would kill me. I know. I have to limit my alcohol consumption. Like, geez, like, good for you that you could do that, I guess, but no, that's not for me. I'd much prefer to have like a nice ice cold root beer or a Coke or something like that. If I'm going to have, you know, a beverage. I mean, that's what I'm drinking right now. I got a nice little root beer right here. The bubbles are so good. That's late here. We got a notice of a divorce, not in an envelope, but the lady is deceased. So what should I do with it? I don't know. I mean, you know, that's, you can, if it wasn't mailed to you, then opening it can get you in problems. You know, especially if it's a court document. I don't know. I have to cut back several a day to just a few a week. Feel much better. Ooh, I guess. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to give you that wonderful, wonderful time of day that only happens whenever I feel in the mood. And today, oh, was I in the mood or not?
It is about time
Let's break this mother down. With Shizzy, Wiz, Nut.
You know, it happens every so often that you just mess that up. And today was the day I messed it up, wouldn't you know it? But an open letter to the legal masochist who keeps suing process servers like they're the villains in her Hallmark horror fantasies. Well, dear fool, I say this with every ounce of exasperated restraint that I can muster. What in the actual fuck are you doing? At this point, the only thing you haven't sued is the envelope the summonses came in. And honestly, give it time, because based on the motion, your motion to dismiss, it's become painfully obvious that the courtroom isn't where you seek justice for you. It's apparently a full-blown constitutional crisis that justifies dragging process servers, banks, and imaginary Jane Doe villains into court like they're kicking your puppy and stole your soul. Let's walk through this masterpiece of self-inflicted legal humiliation. You filed yet another suit, well, this time against ABC Legal Services because someone knocked on your door with papers. According to your complaint, this standard service attempt turned into a horror film, peeking through windows, startling you, involving law enforcement, and causing emotional distress. Really? A knock on the door and a sideways glance through a window is now constitutional crisis. When Jesus wept. You're not a plaintiff, you're the director of your own courtroom fan fiction, except you keep casting yourself as the damsel in distress while tripping over the legal script. The motion to dismiss, oh, it's not just a response, it's a judicial eulogy for your credibility. ABC Legal didn't pull any punches. They brought citations, receipts, and the kind of footnote furry reserved for habitual bullshitters. They broke your pleading down like a forensic accountant with a grudge and exposed every single fatal flaw, from shotgun pleading to commingled claims to fabricating legal duties out of thin air. Your own exhibits contradicted you. Again, girl, how you do keep doing that? Let's talk about that negligence count. You jumble together every grievance you ever had into one document like some unholy casserole of negligence, defamation, emotional trauma, and window peeking, and that's not a lawsuit. That's a psychiatric assessment with case caption. You claim direct liability while arguing vicarious facts. You sprinkle buzzwords like outrageous conduct and reputational harm, hoping the court will mistake adjectives for evidence. You basically handed the court a Mad Libs form titled How to Sue People When You're Bored. Invasion of privacy? You're suing someone for knocking on your front door and delivering documents that you invited by filing prior cases. That's not an invasion of privacy. That's what happens when people follow the law. You're not in seclusion. You're in Florida. You're not being stalked. You're just being served. And finally, by people who aren't afraid to push back. Emotional distress, you cited outrageous behavior, then attached an exhibit where ABC Legal's own policies explicitly forbid harassment or aggressive conduct. So you disproved your own claim again. And that's not legal advocacy, that's legal self-sabotage with attached exhibits. Abusive process, that's not even available to you here because there was no process served on you in the first place. Just pre-service activity, which in Florida is not abusive process, no matter how loud you wail about it. You know that if you read that, you would know that if you read the case law, or stop filing every emotion like it was a claim. Defamation, you're suing over report to law enforcement, which, as ABC Legal beautifully laid out, is presumptively privileged. That's not defamation. That's someone doing their fucking job. And you getting mad at the truth showed up right before your narrative has finished baking. So here's the cherry on this shit Sunday. ABC Legal reminded the court that you've done this before, again and again and again. 4 lawsuits. One of them you abandoned before you even printed summonses. Another you voluntarily dismissed, and the second you realized nobody was buying the bullshit that you were selling. You're not a pro se plaintiff. You're a serial filer with access to word and a persecution complex. You're not litigating. You're rage posting in motion form. You sued your family, you sued banks, you sued YouTubers, you sued a process server, you sued their employer, you sued again. And in each case, the defendants never even got served because, shocker, you never intended to litigate. You just wanted attention. And now you've got it. It's in the form of a motion to dismiss so thoroughly documented that I need a drink and 2 Tylenol to get through it. Well, let's be clear. This isn't about one bad filing. It's a pattern of legal derangement that just now spans counties and calendar years. You're not misunderstood. You're not victimized. You're just out of your depth and out of excuses. You clearly don't understand the law, and worse, you don't even seem to care. You weaponize sealed claims and minors as emotional shields, then drop your cases when the court asks you to prove anything. You take up court time like it's your diary. You, dear diary, let me write some more bullshit. File this one away. And you confuse courtroom procedure with the social media algorithm. And then you wonder why people mock you. We mock you because your own attachments contradict your arguments. We mock you because the court has now labeled your conduct as vexatious, frivolous, and wasteful. And instead of reflecting, you just reload the filing cannon and fire it again. You think criticism is oppression. You think public laughter is defamation. You think reading a ruling is practicing law without a license. No, darling, it's calling having eyes and standards. Here's your closing argument. If you're tired of the mockery, stop filing bullshit lawsuits so dumb they make Judge Judy look like a Supreme Court opinion. And if you want peace, stop setting fire to the docket every time your ego takes a hit. And if you think this letter is cruel, you should see what the court is about to write in the order, because the only thing more embarrassing than this complaint is the fact that your own exhibits argue better than you do. This is from the guy who lit the match, read the filing, ordered a double shot just to wash the stupid out of his eyes, aka Shizzy Wiznut. Still not a lawyer, still smarter than this filing, and currently quoting your complaint word for fucking word. Thank you very much.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzy, Wiz, Nut.
Yes, that is how you do it, like that, buddy. I'm telling you, man, I went and got a haircut today. Doesn't it look good? Man, oh man. Got it all trimmed it up. It feels so much better. It's about to get warm again. Well, thank you. We are all now classed as mockingbirds. I love it. I love it. That's a beautiful thing. Chat, I am so glad that you guys have been able to hang out with me for this short hour and 15 minutes. And I know I'm probably go just a little bit longer. If there's anything that you got, Dapper Shiz, I don't know about that, but it did. You know, they did manage to get some of the gray out of my hair. Good luck on that, huh? Needs some, what was that? I thought I saw something. quite handsome. Dapper. I don't know. It's all good. Oh, that's what I got to do. You know what I almost forgot about, which I have to do this. Let's go ahead and end the poll. And guess what? The poll says only lawyers can read court documents. No. And it says 16% only the whiny ones, and 3% said yes, only lawyers can read court docs. Poll completed, 459 votes. You guys are wonderful. Wonderful as all get out. I do appreciate every single one of you. Now, and there was somebody sent me this question. Says that there's no appeal. But that would be well, not true. There would be an appeal. So if as people were wondering, if they were questioning, that about this particular, about Ferderigos' appeal case. Okay, so what it was is he filed an appeal, and he also is able to file an appeal to that particular pleading. It is there, and I can send that to you. I'll give that to you a little bit later. But yes, there is an appeal that has been filed, but there's certain things that need to happen before that appeal gets filed, and that stuff is due like on 7th or something like that. It's so yes, there is a thing there that there was an appeal filed. So it's not bullshit. It is true. There was an appeal filed on it, but you also have to remember that there was also an action that was supposed to be taken yesterday that never did happen, but we're going to be going over that later tonight. Like my basses and the black guitar. Well, thank you, Uncle Frederick. That black guitar would be let's see, that would be a 90. Is that right? I'm trying to think. 92. I think it's a 92 American Strat. That was put together in Mexico. So it was assembled in that guitar was assembled in Mexico with American parts. And I got it for really cheap because the record store, someone dropped another guitar on top of it and chipped the headstock, which is pretty cool. So I got like an $800 guitar, and we're talking like 1990 $800 guitar for like $250 plus a guitar case. It's pretty cool. I think I even still have the guitar case. And then of course I've got a Washburn bass. I've got a Epiphone. I can't remember the model of it because I bought it in a pawn shop for $100. And then I've got this Maestro right there, which is a really cool one. And then I've got my Ernie Ball Music Man. So I've got a few basses. And then I have another acoustic that's over there, which isn't really mine. It's more like my wife. She wanted me to teach her how to play guitar. That was fruitless. Does that make you a mariachi? No, more like a tomato. I'm more like a tomato, full of seeds and sour. Are you going live with Megan and Tug? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going live with Megan and Tug. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's always that possibility. Things like that do happen sometimes. Why? Who said I was going live with Megan and Tug? Who said I was going live with Megan and Tug? Did Tug say that? Or did Megan say that? There's always that possibility. You never know. The violin, I like a bass. I like a bass too. You should. It would be amazing. Oh, I've been on with Tug and Megan. I think whenever we were going there, and my audio was really bad because I was out of town. So my audio was really bad during that stream. And I try not to, I hate having really bad audio. I think I was on a Bluetooth, and it was bad. I mean, I had fun. Don't get me wrong. With tomatoes, you make salsa. Also, does that make you a fruit? That probably does make me a fruit, or a fruit salad. Depends on whether you toss it or not. You know what I mean? So bad. Shizzy, my channel is 21 subs away from 1,000. Well, 3 awesome dogs. Congratulations. Go check out 3 awesome dogs. Jeez, man. Crack that 1,000. That'll be awesome if you hit that. That would be absolutely wonderful. I like hearing people succeed. Everybody go check that out. Yamaha biker, is there a crank on the guitar? Does it come with a monkey with a hat? Yes, I am the monkey with a hat, except mine's more like a star-spangled helmet with feet all over it. Look at all those feet. Look at all those feet. Don't ever buy a Daewoo badged with Buick's name. This is becoming a nightmare. I imagine so. Who is my favorite band in genre? I don't really have a favorite band. I mean, because I like so many different styles of music that's really, really hard to put a finger on. I mean, I like good music, you know, and to me, good music may not be the same as good music to you. It's got to have a good beat to it. I mean, you know, you could say that, you know, couple of songs by REM I'd find really good, and then I would find a couple of songs by Metallica being really good, or Butthole Surfers, or Devo. I mean, like my range of music is vast because I like music, and I like good music. I like good songs, you know, and like you know, have you ever heard Devo's Mongoloid? It's a great song. It's an absolutely wonderful song. I love that. But then also I would like, I'm going to say the name wrong. Dead Milkmen. Is it the Dead Kennedys, Stealing People's Mail? I like Blondie, you know. I might even throw in like an ABBA song in there, and then turn around and go, well, you know, Brian Seltzer is really cool, and I like rockabilly and certain songs that are done by rockabilly. You know, then, you know, you've got like Stray Cats, you got Def Leppard, Led Zeppelin. I mean, you start naming off bands, and like there's who's my favorite bassist. I mean, I really liked Jaco Pastorius was pretty awesome. As far as like living bass player, I would say I think that John Paul Jones has always been underestimated as a bass player. O'Neill's really good. His brother Kofi is really a much better player from Aquarium Rescue Unit. And Colonel Bruce Hampton's Aquarium, what is it? Damn. Like there's just so many bands out there. It's really hard to compare which one is the best. I mean, Les Claypool is a fucking monster. So yeah, I mean, you start talking like music, it's like there's just so many different kinds that I like, you know. It's like I could sit down and listen to Parliament just as easily as I could sit down and listen to you know, the Sex Pistols. It just it does. It's not Stanley Clarke. Yeah, Stanley Clarke's really good. I got a chance to see Stanley Clarke live. That was fun. You know, and then, you know, I've seen Jimmy Smith. You know, he's a awesome B3 player, you know. So, and then of course, you know, you've got what is it? The two brothers one of the bass players used to play with. The name is slipping my mind. It'll come to me. I just have to picture the face with it, and then I could do it. And of course, you got the bass player that was playing with. Oh God, what's the name of the band? It'll come to me. Like there's so many different bands, and then there's some other bands that I don't know about, like that are just absolutely unbelievable. Would have loved to see Gordon Lightfoot concert. Yeah, that probably would have been really good. I got to shake hands with Ray Charles. That was really cool. He was playing at Chastain Park, and I was working backstage. It was the same year that he passed. So I got to see him perform. It was really good. Impressive. Like really, 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 really chill person. Of course, I also got to see, name's Rick James, motherfucker. Got to see Rick James. And KC and the Sunshine Band were performing. That was a really, really cool show. They couldn't figure out who was supposed to be the opening band that night. There's so many different judges. They will talk. I know Bob Seger person. Oh, that's awesome. I'm trying to think who it was that I saw at it was a country stampede that I worked at. And it's not Bob Seger. It's, damn it. Well, Charlie Daniels. I got to talk with his bass player. His bass player is really cool. And I didn't know this, but Charlie Daniels, he like had a policy that his band couldn't drink, couldn't do drugs, none of that. That like, and he wanted them like clean and sober, which is, you know, they were like, no big deal. Peter Frampton was your first concert. Was it Peter Frampton that I saw? That might be who I'm thinking of. I think it was Peter Frampton was playing at a country stampede. Yeah, Peter Frampton. That's who it would have been. Bob Seger's sister lives around the corner. Awesome. That's really cool. Shizzy, that was a question. What was a question? I don't know. Lips has so many different judges. Will they talk? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, there's no reason to. They usually look at the pleadings. That's the way that the judges are. They generally aren't going to be communicating with other judges unless they have like a question about something. But usually judges work independently because why would you have to talk to another judge about that? I mean, you look at cases on their merits. You know, the only reason that a judge would call another judge or talk to another judge is if they had a question about one of their cases, or if there was another case that was being filed in there, or them talking about multiple cases. I mean, they might. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a judge. I've never been a judge. So I don't know if they have certain processes that they have to go through whenever they're discussing a case or asking about cases. I don't know. I don't see so. Beach Boys was my first concert. ELO was my last. I got to see, oh, damn it. They used to be the Turtles, but they had to change their name. Flo and, damn it. Oh, God damn it. Sorry, that the name is slipping me. But they played with Frank Zappa. Got to see them. That were fun. And then also got to see, I didn't get to see Jack Black perform with Tenacious D, but I did get to meet Jack Black backstage and talked with him for like a good 5-10 minutes before Living Color came in, swept him up, and took him to another stage. It was pretty cool. He was pretty cool. And we like you anyhow. Well, I mean, Cliff Burton. Cliff Burton would have been really cool to meet. I would have been, what, 16, 15, 16, something like that, whenever he passed. 17, something like that. Yeah, I mean, Cliff Burton, he was amazing. And never got a chance to meet Ozzy. That probably would have been an interesting conversation. Did meet Willie Nelson, though. Like, I like me some Willie Nelson. he was pretty damn cool. Peter Frampton was head for 6 other bands. I went to parking lot to crash. Oh, that's awesome. Flo and Eddie, thank you. Flo and Eddie were the Turtles. But because of like contractual shit, they had to change their name or some shit like that. So they just went as Flo and Eddie. But they used to perform Turtle songs with Kiss in Montreal. Oh my God, that would have been awesome. I remember whenever Double Platinum came out, I got a chance to meet the whole band. Well, minus the keyboard player for Cheap Trick, but David Bryant from Bon Jovi was playing with him that night, which was really cool. And got to meet him and then talk with him later on. Like years later, got to talk with him. He was pretty cool. Your first concert was Van Halen 5150. You were an adult. Oh man, my first concert. God, first concert. Well, let's see. I remember I was going to a concert in Albuquerque, and what was the name of the band? It was a King's X. Yeah, King's X was performing at another venue. I think a larger venue because they were like on their way up, and ran into those guys at the mall, which was pretty funny. You got to play bass with Starship in 1990 in Las Vegas Hilton. That was lots of fun. I imagine so. Mother's Finest, ran into those guys quite often because they're from here in Georgia. The bass player was a blast. Him and oh damn it, Mo, I think is what his name was. Yeah, Mo was playing guitar with him at the time. I'm trying to remember the bass player's name. He was a beast. But he said, "Hey, can you play a practical joke on me?" And I said, "What's that?" And Mo said, "Hey, can you just go tell him if he could take 5 minutes to teach you everything he knows?" That was awesome. Yeah, he got a kick out of that one. That's how people treat each other. Message retract. What did you retract? Love the Stalker Brothers. Oh. You ate dinner with Three Dog Night. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, Three Dog Night was it Three Dog Night? Oh, that would be cool. I'm trying to think who it was. There was another band that was playing at that same festival. I'm trying to think who it was. I want to say it was Three Dog Night. It might be right. It's crazy. Your last concert was Bob Seger and never heard a song, had a heart attack while walking in the front door. Oh, man, that sucks. Queen, Wembley. Yeah, that probably would have been really good. Queen would have been really cool to see. Of course, I think Freddie died before I was ever old enough to go see a concert. Love the Statler Brothers. Oh yeah, Statler Brothers. Gotcha. Stalker Brothers. That's funny. Statler Brothers. Yeah. I haven't sit with Ben watching Shaq stripping in a Speedo on Late Night Show. That's funny. Cheap Trick was the house band at the Brat Shop in Kenosha. Oh wow. Yeah, I could see that. Cheap Trick has always enjoyed those guys. Nielsen, that right? He's always been one of my favorite. It's really cool because he's ambidextrous, so that whenever he's playing those guitars, he's actually playing them left and right-handed. Guy's amazing. That's what? Flea recap tonight. That shizzy guy was name dropping. I never heard of him, Robbie. When I was living with CC. Yeah, I ran into guys I like Robbie out in California all the time. There was plenty of roadies and whatnots and people like that were hanging around with all of these musicians. And musicians, you have to understand that period of time were actually pretty cool. I mean, they would promote other people, even people like that were in their band or part of their band or surrounding their band. They'd try to promote them. So that's pretty cool. And CC was always, I ran into, CC. It was CC. Yeah, I ran into him on the, I think it was on the Strip or it was on Hollywood Boulevard. It was one of the two. I didn't even recognize him because, he's, without all the makeup, he wasn't really attractive. Let's put it that way. But he was good people. He was good people. I mean, that was crazy. Yeah. I was pissed too, but Elton, oh yeah. And one of my friends actually, got to go up and delivered some pizza to Elton John. And it was about 5 years later that I got a chance to meet him at the, what was it at the time? It was Earthlink Live. Got to meet him at Earthlink Live and Cyndi Lauper. That different times, but yeah, I got to meet both of them and Henry Rollins. Yeah, Henry Rollins was pretty cool. I've seen so many concerts in the last 20 years. I've forgotten most of them. Oh, same here. I worked festivals. I worked backstage at festivals, so there was quite a bit of of musicians that I didn't never get a chance to meet, and quite a few that I wish I could have met. And I will say there's nothing as quite impressive as watching a young, what was her name? Stefani. Oh, damn. I think she's been married a couple of times since then. Stefani from I'm Just a Girl Living in whatever. Gwen Stefani. Yeah, Gwen Stefani. Nothing like watching Gwen Stefani in a pair of striped pants like strut away from you. It's quite impressive. Just saying. Gwen, yeah. Yeah, that was Three Dog Night was my first concert at the Concord Pavilion. Yeah. Gwen it was yeah, she was fun. Let's put it that way. Crazy times. Yeah, I mean, you know, but you also have to understand whenever you're around music, you tend to run into tons of musicians. I mean, yeah, I could sit here and name drop all the musicians I dealt with over the past, 20, 30, 40 plus years. And I mean, the names would just go on and on and on and on and on. So I just don't even really think about it much anymore. I mean, Gwen Stefani is now married to Blake Shelton. I think that's right. Watch it from the beginning because I can. Exactly. Gwen the Ferret. Yeah, it's you know, it's a crazy world. You'd be surprised how many people you probably met and didn't even know that you met. Not John Belushi, but I got to meet Jim Belushi. He's actually bigger than I thought. Like whenever I say bigger, I mean like he's a big guy. Like he's just got a presence about him too. So he was pretty cool. Met him at a he was playing for a U.S. Open, I think. Is that right? It was in Augusta. Is that right? U.S. Open. I'm not sure. Is it U.S. Open or whatever the thing is for golf in Florida. Changing handles and making you feel like you're dealing with dyslexia. Yeah, that happens. I did appliance repair in a popular area like that. Yeah. Oh, well, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. Your old dad, you'd be surprised the amount of people that you meet. Like, had a friend no, was it friend? No, it was a brother of my old guitar player. His, he lived in the same, I think his next door neighbor was, Steve Buscemi. He was just like, wait, you're Steve? He was like, yes, I'm Steve Buscemi. He was like, oh, cool. And that was it. And then they became like good friends and they would like hang out. He was like, yes, I'm Steve. He was just like, okay, cool. I thought that's who you were. He was just like, yeah. And then they just ended up becoming really good friends and hanging out. I'd like to meet, FOA Off the Earth Home and Free Pantonics. Ooh, that would be really cool. Yeah, Jethro Tull in the 80s were awesome. Yeah, Jethro Tull in the 80s were awesome. I could see becoming a jazz flautist. First concert was Tim McGraw. Second was Alan Jackson. That's awesome. Johnny and Edgar Winter used to get their fix off with Old Boston on. I could see that. I'm trying to think. Did I ever meet? I never got the chance to meet the Winter brothers. But I know I did get a chance to see, damn it. Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he was another white blues guitar player. He was aged. I'm trying to think. Oh, damn it. The name keeps slipping me. It'll come to me eventually. And, what's the young guy, Sean Costello. If you ever got a chance, you should go check out his music. It's impressive. And cause he was from here in Atlanta. So it was quite a few times I've actually performed with him. Either it would be like an open mic or just an open stage. He'd be there. Smalley, that's the bass player's name. Like Sean Costello was really cool. And I knew the keyboard player personally, which was also pretty cool. So I could go anywhere and run into him. And it was really neat as Tinsley Ellis helped him get, get in with his first label, which was really nice at Tinsley, and I think helped him out with his studio like time, like getting that all set up, which was really cool on his last album before he passed away. Love seeing Jeremy's cases being used as precedent already. The first time was with Judge Grudge. Yeah, and I mean, you'll see these kinds of things, especially in Florida. You'll probably see, you know, here's the thing. If you're going after people in certain style types cases, one thing, you know, is those defamation cases, if they do go through, if Jeremy wins in his case against Leslie, which I don't see why he won't, because it's a pretty damn solid case, then that Leslie and Michael, if he wins in that case, oh my gosh, that right there is going to change hopefully change a little bit of the landscape of Florida, and how people file frivolous lawsuits. I mean, it'll get noticed much quicker. You know, and he was there the night Stevie Ray Vaughan died. Ooh, that's rough. As a kid, many moons ago, I played hoops with Danny Brewer from Three Dog Night. That'd be cool. Yeah. But anyhow, I've probably taken up plenty of your time. I've got to go feed my pups, and you guys are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this early afternoon. Yes, it was early, but I do have quite a few like things that I've got to get taken care of. And of course, I got all like completely sidetracked talking about music. Nobody here wants to hear about that. It's like living the old dream that never happened. You know, that's the thing. It's like, it makes you feel sort of bad, because you're like, I mean, with all the people that I knew, whatever happened with Shizzy? Why didn't he ever make it big? Well, that's why, because it's you know, either you're just not in the right place at the right time, or whatever it might be, or you know, you just weren't good enough, and that probably was my case in 90% of it. I wasn't at the right place at the right time, and I wasn't good enough. And I guarantee you there was much better musicians out there than me, like quite a bit. I guarantee that there were better musicians than myself. I was a substandard bass player, I guess is what you could say. Yeah, substandard. I mean, I could sit down and watch other people like play, and they were amazing. Me, I'm okay. I'm okay. I can hold my own, but I'm definitely not like I'm not like John Paul Jones or Cliff Burton, or, you know, I'm not that good. You were a pro vocalist for over 30 years. The most famous person I ever appeared on stage with was that anyone would know of was Donovan. Oh, wow. That's very cool, Christine. That's very cool. Would have loved to meet the Traveling Wilburys. Yeah. 8th grade. Wow. It's the little things that bring us together. Yes. That's what my first wife said. It's the little things that bring us. Sorry, that's so bad. God bless America. Everybody have a wonderful day, and make sure that you, I don't know where I'm going to send you, but if I see somebody streaming, I'll probably send you guys over there. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for hanging with me on this afternoon. And, you know, don't forget, hug a lawyer.
Oh, you thought I was done, bless your heart, but I'm still living rent-free, it's a work of art. Call me daddy, call me nut, call me the goat. You're paddling upstream while I'm running this boat. You say, I don't care, yet you're glued to the screen, caught up in my glow while you stay unseen. Your shade's like a breeze, it's barely a draft. Meanwhile, I'm the Picasso of roasting your ass. You say you're over me, oh how cute, but here I am, still the star of your loop. You're my biggest fans, don't even deny, so grab some popcorn when daddy goes live. Live. Call me daddy, yeah, shout it loud. King of your thoughts, I'm making you proud. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy headline act. Your background noise, and that's just a fact. Let's face the score. You hate that you love me, but you keep wanting more. You're like a dog chasing cars, you don't know why. But here you are, barking while I touch the sky. Your comments are gold, such comedy gold. Who hurt you? Oh wait, it's me, I'm told. You're keeping tabs like an unpaid intern while I'm cashing checks. When will you learn? Your timeline's a shrine to every move I make. I'd say thanks, but you're a nasty skank. Oh, Shizzy's washed up. Yeah, sure, Jan, yet here I am, the centerpiece of your plan. You hate watch my stream like it's Oscar night, but guess what, kiddos? I'm still shining bright. Call me daddy. Send in your bread. I'm still rent-free in your effing head. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy on your brain. I'm your mental landlord, you can't complain. Let's keep it real. You hate that I'm winning, but you love how it feels. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break your streak? You tried to ignore me for like half a week, but Daddy's too spicy, you can't look away. I'm the train wreck you need every single day. So while you're out there with your plastic clout, I'm here sipping coffee watching you freak out. You're relevant, wow, what a take. Now go rewatch my vids while I count how much I make. I count how much I make. Call me daddy, yeah, own it now. I'm read in your brain and you don't know how. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, let's at the bar. I'm the constellation, you're a burned out star. Embrace your role, cause I'm the main character. You're just an old ragged ass, burned out troll. So that's your bedtime story, kids tucked in sweet and snug. Shizzy Daddy's forever, you lose and you're stuck in the mud. Now say goodnight to Papa Nut, your mental pain. Oh wait, you will see me tomorrow's. Agenda will see me tomorrow, same obsession, same effing thing.